Hello everyone, today we're going to look at angles within shapes. So yesterday we were looking at obtuse and right angles, identifying them and learning some of the vocabulary. Today we're going to look at them in shapes. So I thought we'd look at this extension from yesterday because of course we were looking at shapes there, and I know some people did it but not everyone, and some people might have found it really difficult to do. So let's have a look at it. First of all, is it possible to create a pentagon with a set of parallel lines and an obtuse angle? Well, at first, if you've got a regular pentagon, all of these angles here are obtuse, but there are no parallel lines. But it is possible to make it so you've got a set of parallel lines, which means you have two right angles at the bottom and still have an obtuse angle at the top, like this. And if it was narrower, then you could make it into an acute angle. You could even make it possible to have a right angle, but then you've got these things here which are going to be the obtuse angles. So that's one way to do it. For the next one, we want a quadrilateral. That's a shape with four sides. Remember, quad means four. It's got a right angle, obtuse angle, and acute angle. Well, first let's look at the regular shape, or at least semi-regular shape. We've got a rectangle here. Of course, we could have a square instead. If we've got a rectangle, then we've got four right angles, so we don't have any extra angles. But what if we moved it around? Well, you could do it this way, where I've basically taken this corner and pushed it in, and now I have an obtuse angle, an acute angle, another acute angle, along with a right angle. Or I could do it the other way and pull it out, in which case I've got an acute angle and two obtuse angles along with my right angle down here. It's even possible if you wanted to do this with two right angles here, and just pull this across, in which case it's kind of like a trapezium, a little bit like if you imagine half a roof shape, kind of cut down the middle. Now, how about this last one? What about a triangle with two right angles? Well, in this case, this one isn't possible, and if you draw it out, you can see why. It's always good to draw a model. If we've got right angles here, these lines are never going to meet because they're running parallel to each other. So if you want them to come in a bit, then these would no longer be right angles, and then they'd be acute angles. And in fact, it's true that the angles inside a triangle always out to 180 degrees. That's not something you need to worry about too much now, but it's something you'll learn about more in future. So here's a task we can do together. I want you to pause the video and try this. Sort these shapes by type of angles. Remember that some of them can have more than one type of angle, so you may need to write them in more than one column. Give that a go. And then when you're done with this, let's look at this next task. What do you think? How else could you sort the shapes? So in this case, you could say all these shapes have both acute and obtuse angles. See here, acute, obtuse, acute, obtuse. Could have this one. This one only has a right angle. Or you could sort them into shapes that have more than one type of angle. So, for example, you could say that we have. Sorry, I'm losing my pen here. This one has got both. Whoops, it's not a drawing. Let's see why. There we go. Oh no, my pen doesn't like me. Hang on. There we go. That one's got both. This one only has acute. This one only has obtuse. This one's got both. This one's got both. And this one only has right. So you could say that, for example, this one here, and this one here have both. And you could categorize them that way. Just another way of doing it. Now, here it's your turn. I've got three irregular shapes here. I want you to identify whether each internal angle is acute, a right angle, or an obtuse angle. And then as an extension, I'd like you to draw only four lines and see how many angles you can make. And my tip here is to do lots of crisscrossing, lots of like X shapes, and because that will give you more angles. See what the most angles you can get is. Good luck, and let me know how you get on.